Hey guys, Reef here. I have 7 days to post a video, alright? I'm not contractually obliged or anything, but I usually post on the 10th. Ignore the last video, but I have 7 days. It's a lie. It's the 10th right now. I already did this. But I had 7 days. So you know what? I've been meaning to make this game for a while. It's called Ball and Chain. It's a movement shooter, but you're attached to like a ball and chain, you know, like those prisoner ones that like go on the ankle and shit. Yes, that, but you can swap places with it. Think Jujutsu Kaisen, Toto, Boogie Woogie, like that. Okay. Doing that 7 days. It's actually not 7 days. I did it in like 5 minus 1. I did it in 4 because I played Sekiro for 1 day. But I have 7 days to do this. Yes, so I gotta go, man. Alright, so start by making a new project. Gonna call it My Wife because like ball and chain, you know, it's like that's like what people, it's like what old dudes say. Download URP for the materials and like the visuals and shit. Yeah, okay, cool. Put a bean in, that's the guy. Alright, awesome. Character controller. Alright, so I start by writing, you know, fucking movement and shit. And then, you know, soon I realize that, oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing because I don't remember. So instead, what I decided to do is I just go to one of my old ones and I just steal all of the code, all of it, fix its positioning. Yep, all right, all good. Yep, cool. I move the camera, add it to the player. All right, he moves. Yep, cool. Move speed, sensitivity, so you can like fucking look around. Yep, okay. Looks, moves. Cool, perfect. All right. Changing the drag because he's like kind of lofty. It looks like he's on fucking ice. Change sense again because I too picky fucking guess. All right, moving on. Doing fucking jump. So if it's space and if you're grounded, then obviously you fucking jump. How it determines if you're grounded is if your y velocity is 0, meaning like if you're not fucking falling. So obviously, yeah, fixing that. For some reason, it always said I was grounded even when I wasn't, so I had to go through and fix that. And then, yep, okay. So he jumps, and then he can't jump when he's not grounded. Awesome. Alright, then we're gonna do a fucking double jump. That's really simple. If you're in the air and you haven't jumped a second time, then you can double jump. And then if you jump a second time, then you have double jumped and you can't jump again. So, yes, it's just a bool. And then obviously when you land, it gives you your second jump back. Cool. Yep, okay. That's double jump. I love movement. Okay, moving on. We're gonna do a dash. So obviously, if you hit left shift, you dash because that's like the dash key. So if it's not on cooldown, and the on cooldown is determined like so when you press the dash key, it sets the start time, and then it compares the start time to the current time, and if the difference is greater than the cooldown, then you can dash again. Dash, and then the cooldown's 2.5 seconds. So 2.5 seconds later, you can dash again. Yep, alright, now we're adding the ball. You know, like the whole ball and chain thing, it's like the whole point of the fucking game. Alright, yep, so add a spring joint so it's like actually connected. And then make it so that like the ball has a lot more mass than the player, you know, so it's like you can't get too far away from the ball or it pulls you back in. Yeah. Look at that. It really is pulling me back in because the spring joint. We're gonna do the fucking the character actions. So the first action we're gonna do is a kick, so you can like fucking move the ball. So I'm gonna make an animation. I start off by making an animation because I'm lazy and I don't want to make an animator controller. And then I realize it doesn't work because animations fucking suck and they get fucking Unity doesn't support them anymore, even though they're still in there. So eventually I just cave and I make an animator controller because it just doesn't work at all. But yeah, so and then make the animator controller, play the what? Oh, that's not supposed to happen, huh? Okay, so we're gonna fix that by fucking going in and changing the rotation of the animation and the rotation of the game object. So there's a lot of parenting and a lot of unparenting and making sure that the fucking game object is rotated directly in front of the player instead of off to the side like it is. Yeah. it was looped, so I'm just gonna unloop it so that it only plays once instead of playing over and over. Okay, so now it doesn't play more than once. What the fuck? Go around, so it kicks. Looks like the animation is still playing. It's like stasis, stagnant, stuck playing. Gonna try disabling the animator. I'm gonna try setting the game object disactive, and it all just doesn't fucking work. Still going even though it's deactive. Okay, yes, it's just like stuck. So if I just transition back to the new state, does that make it so that it like doesn't stuck? Hey, would you look at that? That was a lot easier. Wish I would have just done that the first time. Alright, now we're gonna make it so you can fucking like kick it so it actually the kick actually does something. Kick isn't actually gonna do like damage or anything, it's just gonna move it. So on the collision enter, you know, yeah, import parts of force to the ball as so. Cool. Now it actually moves. Alright, now we're gonna get a new ability. It's like you swap places with the ball because that's interesting and that adds for fucking movement and shit. So, you know, just when you press E, it takes your position, it takes the ball's position, and it swaps the two, and that's it. It was really simple. Yep, so swap, 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 swap. Cool. And since the ball is so much more massive than the player, if it goes off the map and it falls and falls, and you can swap places with it and get sent flying back up because it pulls the player back in. It's kind of fun to mess around with. Alright, so start with sending a raycast. This is in order to pick up the ball. So it sends a raycast out, and if it hits the ball within a certain distance, it knows that you're in range and you're looking at the ball. So your character picks it up, you know? Obviously, that's what picking up things does. So yeah. When you're holding the ball, it just like it just sets the position of the ball to a position that I set relative to the player. Which is what you can see me doing here. I'm figuring out where exactly the position is where I want the camera to see the ball but not completely obscure the entire vision. So yeah, that's what I was doing here. So here we go. Pick up the ball. That's not supposed to happen. What the fuck? What? 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 Why is it doing that? Okay. So, I think it's because of the collider, so we're just going to disable the collider. Okay, yeah. So, it's connected, it's moving, but it's not shifting with the character. So, we're going to try setting the parent, because obviously if a parent object is set, then it will follow the transform of the parent. I also just set the rigid body kinematic. And yep, it works perfectly fine. Follows now. Now I'm gonna let the player let go by clicking left click. So I'm just gonna undo everything that I did prior. And yep. Okay. I forgot to unset the transform parent. Still doesn't work. Okay, I don't know how to unparent an object. Okay, it says here I just need to set the parent to null. So that's easy. Okay, so pball instead set parent null. So now when I press left click to let go of the ball, it should unparent it, and it should be not following the transform. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. All right, now we're just going to make it so that instead of just letting go on the ball, the player's gonna throw the ball with actual force. So we're gonna add a force in the direction of the camera, meaning if you look up, it'll go up. If you look down, you go down. Yep. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. All right. Now we're gonna make the property of the material bouncy because I want the ball to bounce, but what you need to do is make a physics material, which I didn't know about, so I looked that up, and now it's bouncy. And I proceed to do this for like 20 minutes. All right, now we're going to make an enemy. We're going to download the AI navigation Unity fucking project thing, program, whatever. I can't. Yeah. So create an agent, make it red because like enemies are red. No, wait, maybe that sounds wrong. I just mean like I'm just gonna stop talking. Anyway, we're making an enemy using the AI navigation agent. So every frame we're setting the destination of the agent to the player's position, so it will follow the player as seen. And then we're gonna make it so that if you kick and it hits an enemy or game magic tagged enemy, it will impart a force onto it, like so. But for some reason, that's making the AI navigation not work. So I don't know why. Okay, let's try this. I just decreased the force of the kick. And okay, so the force was just too high. Instead of disabling the collider on the ball when you pick it up, which is what I was doing for, I'm disabling the collision in the spring joint, meaning that it won't collide with the player, which it's connected to. What it will collide with is other things, though, like enemies. Because when the collider was disabled, you could just walk into walls with it, but now it will actually provide collision to everything else. So, as seen here, picking up the ball results in, yep, you can push them around. Yep. Cool. Perfect. Yeah, I did stop the bit where I was like talking really fast because I didn't really want to do that again. Okay. Now we're going to give this enemy some character because I feel it's a little basic. So I'm going to grab a picture of some random guy and make a material out of it so we can give the enemy a face. It's just a plane with a picture on it, so it's not really much, but hey, that works. Perfect. Gotta name it the germ. Alright, we're also gonna add a cooldown on collision, so when the enemy collides with the player, it will play an animation and it will allow the enemy to not move for a little bit. Just making sure that the enemy doesn't push the player around too much in this test phase. Okay, the picture's on the wrong side, but it does work. So I'll just move the picture like so. Perfect. Okay, and bam, works.
You want to eat some bugs?
All right, so now basically for the next 40 fucking minutes, I fucked around, just throwing the ball around and shit. But what I did do is I used joint mass scale to make it so that the ball's mass wasn't insanely high, and also made it so that joint mass scale basically means that within a spring joint, you can make it so that one of the connected game objects, its mass is significantly higher than the other one without making its actual mass super duper high. Meaning that the player is going to be pulled around by the ball a lot, but you can still impart a normal amount of force onto the ball without it resulting in it not moving at all. Alright, so I started by creating a entity stats script just to house health and changing health and max health, things like that. So obviously if the game object gets hit, its health decreases. And then I created a vignette for the player that shows when the player's been hit. I had a lot of trouble with this for some reason because I was trying to increment the opacity of the vignette depending on the player's max HP compared to its current HP. For some reason, the alpha just wouldn't work, but eventually I did get it working so that your current health divided by your max health, that percentage is what is the percentage missing is the percentage of the vignette. And then I worked on a ball script. Basically, I created a script that takes the velocity of the ball, the absolute value of each component of the velocity combined, so X, Y, and Z, the absolute value of those combined. It takes that velocity, and if it's higher than the velocity threshold, it will deal damage to enemies, as shown. So the reason I had a little bit of trouble with this because I kept trying to find a way to just see the velocity as just one number instead of three components. But that doesn't exist, so I just had to figure out a way, and I just ended up combining the absolute value of each component. But yeah, so now it it deals damage. And then I went into map creation, so I just started with one room. And then I had a little platform, so it's like the goal of the first room is just to get up to the first little platform, as shown here. And then I made a second little hallway leading into the next chamber. And then I made a third chamber. This one's larger and taller, meant to actually like be at least a little bit of a challenge. So and then I work on platforms and enemies in the third chamber, and I make a projectile enemy and a projectile. The projectile is just a cube with no gravity, and it's given a force on its instantiation. I had way too much difficulty with this, so when I instantiated the positioning was wrong, so it would instantiate inside the enemy, and it would cause that, as you saw, the glitching movement. And then when I fixed its positioning, this error happened. So as you can see, it's not actually heading towards the enemy. The reason for this is because when the order that the actions occurred was wrong. It would be instantiated, and then it would run its script on determining where the player is and heading towards that, and then its position would move. So it would be instantiated really far away, and then it would head towards the player and then move, so that the actual position it was heading towards has now changed. So it's just heading in the complete wrong direction, simply because the order that things happen was incorrect. And so that took me a long time to figure out, and I eventually gave up today. And then the next day, I figured out what the issue was. Okay, now let me tell you the tale of what happened. I wake up in a cold sweat. I have nothing, no phone, no wallet. I stumble to my computer, unaware of what time it is, what day it is, where I am. I look on my computer, and there it is, shining with a golden light. The game, it's been done for me. Alright, so here's what actually happened. So, I wasn't doing that much. I was filming for like 2-3 hours. Didn't complete that much. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop filming everything, and I'll just do what I normally do. And then I proceeded to have the 2 most productive days in a row out of the entire thing. So what I'm going to provide you is footage of me playing the thing with all the shit I did, and I'm going to explain what I did that I didn't film. So let's get into it. Firstly, I made the map. You can see it in the video. I did all that. It's like pretty bare bones right now, but I at least like laid out everything that should be there and everything that's gonna be there and the whole situation with the map. I did that in like a day. I think it turned out pretty good. First map I made, guys, don't judge me too hard. Number 2, I fixed the projectile enemy, which you didn't see me make. I made a projectile enemy. It's an enemy that shoots projectiles. Can you believe it? So I fixed that. That enemy, before it would shoot his projectile, and then it would just be wrong. That's because I was creating the projectile, and then it would run the code where it would determine where it was going, and then it would reposition it so it just wouldn't go where it's supposed to go. But I fixed that because I figured out that it was happening in the wrong order, and I fixed that. Okay, next. I made a death plane, like every game has. Not that cool. I made a breakable wall, so you could throw the ball at the wall and it breaks. Cool. I swapped the mass scale before the ball was super massive and the player wasn't, so you couldn't get away from the ball. But that stifled movement and also didn't make much sense because the player would throw the ball. So now it's swapped, and I'm thinking there's going to be an enemy that'll swap it back and basically anchor you. But for now, it's just like the player is the main component, and then the ball is like follows it. I fixed the gravity. Before it was super lofty for no reason. Like, you would jump and then you would fall. I fixed that. I made closing and opening doors. Doors that would close when you got too close, and doors that would open if you defeated all the enemies. And I made triggers that would spawn enemies, and triggers that would trigger traps to happen. I did that. I made a button to pull the ball in, because before, if the ball was out, it was gone. You couldn't get to it. But now you can, like, there's like a chain attached to this. You can, like, yank the chain. I did that. You can pull the ball in now. So now you can, like, throw the ball, teleport, pull the ball, catch it, throw it. It's like movement. I increased the grab size of the ball. Basically, I just added a collider that's a little bit bigger, but it doesn't do anything except increase the size of the collider for detecting it. So, like, if your mouse isn't completely on it, but it's close enough, you can still pick it up, because before it felt weird that you had to be directly on the ball to pick it up. So yeah, it's a little bit like a quality of life change. I did that too. That's what I did. I'm gonna go take a shower now. Yeah, so obviously I did it. I think it turned out pretty well. I enjoyed making this more than the slime game, because I feel like with the slime game, I don't really know, like, I don't have an end goal. Like, it's like I don't know what I want that game to be completely. But this one, it's like I know. And I think it turned out well. It's decently fun. It needs some tweaks. I'm gonna post it on itch.io. If I don't, you have my permission to tell me to kill myself. So yeah, if you wanna try it and tell me that it sucks ass, go ahead. It's on my itch.io. But yeah, I mean, so listen, like, I procrastinated a lot, but also I was busy, okay? But it was mostly procrastination. But I mean, I did it, and somehow it turned out I did shit fast. That's abnormal. I don't usually do shit fast. I shit really slow. But yeah, it's literally the 10th. It's 10th, 11:12 p.m. So I got an hour. Like, I'm sad. Maybe I shouldn't have spent that entire day playing Sekiro. Dude, Sekiro is so good though. I slept on it for so long. That shit fire. It's like the best FromSoft game. But yeah. So you know what? I did it. So there should be another video right here, and if I'm not, then I'm stupid and I forgot. If I'm not, if there's not, I'm stupid and I forgot. I need to stop moving the camera. There should be another video here. If there's not, I'm stupid and I forgot. Click on it, please. I'm sure it's good. Unless by me, it's probably not. Anyways, toodles.